It's only then that I bother to look back, hoping and praying to the god I scorn that it did not pursue me. I would have run all the way out of the mansion too if only someone didn't get in my way. I collide with a body much larger than mine and fall back to the ground, head spinning as I look up at the stained glass. Turn my head to the side and replace the colorful sight with a pair of shiny black shoes. Fatigue fills every inch of my being, making me refuse to get up. Meanwhile, a familiar head of ginger hair looks down at me in bemusement.
You really must look where you're going if you insist on running about. Do tell, where is the fire?
Oh, thank God you're here.
I do hope you don't have a concussion. Can you count backwards from 15 to 1 for me?
Oh, fuck off, you wanker. Just help me up.
I do not think insulting me if you do have a concussion is a smart decision. But no, really. 15 to 1.
That woman, she was here. I told you to keep an eye out for her.
The other man offers an arm and pulls me up to my feet then. But before I can storm off and pull him to the ballroom, he anchors me down with one hand on my shoulder and the other touching the back of my head.
No bruising or bump. That still does not mean that you don't have a concussion. If you are too lazy to count backwards, can you tell me your full name? Where are you currently?
We don't have Lucille Mitchell Wright, and this is the Ermengarde bloody fucking foyer. But we don't have time for this.
You must make and have the time to make sure you are not broken in the head.
You are years too late for that, dude.
I have already sent security to scour the whole house when I saw you running out of the parlor, Dummkopf. If the woman is here, they will have her. You will only be slowing them down if you plan to interfere.
When he points that out, I realize that there are guards trying to filter into the house as we speak with some already searching the nearby rooms. Armed and uniformed men go about in pairs, making it so that the house is in a flurry of activity. He lets go of me then, with the knowledge that I'm not going to keel over anytime soon.
I was hoping that you would be tired from dealing with the young miss on my return. Instead, you come running and hit your head. Such a troublesome boy. Shall I be carrying you to bed, too?
I can manage just fine on my own. Though I don't see how I can sleep until that woman is caught.
It'll be easier to keep you safe in your quarters. This is twice we've known the woman to break in. I think we can safely presume that you hold her interest.
He says it as a matter-of-fact tone that book no argument. Not like I'll argue if it means I'm kept safe. The two of us hurry upstairs, though we remain watchful and wary of any potential threats to my person. We make it to the master bedroom without any trouble, though, and two of the security are left outside the door. No problems at all. Not until we get inside. I've barely taken a step in when my mobile rings. Looking at it shows an unmarked number, most likely one of my boys. I don't even have the time to speak before a nervous voice breaks through.
Hey boss, it's Carl from LPD. We've sort of got a situation here at the precinct.
I recognize the voice and the name. Carl, one of the police in my payroll, and one of the few I trust to ensure that the black man's guilt in Hannah's murder is a done deal. To hear from him now promises nothing but more trouble and headaches.
More problems. More problems. For goodness sake, I don't really need any more. What is it?
Well, you know the missus's body? In the morgue.
Well, of course I know of it. Yes. What kind of numpty do you take me for? I don't know why you're calling me about this, though.
See, boss, it's gone. Your wife's body is missing from the morgue. And the coroner who was looking it over as well. Dead.
I expected many a thing. Maybe the coroner asking for twice the usual pay to muck things up because of Hannah's celebrity status. Perhaps a hiccup in the system that needed expert advice from one of my lawyers. But a disappearing corpse and a dead coroner?
What?
Yep, I don't know. We haven't looked through security tapes yet. But I thought you ought to know and...
Then go look at the security tapes before bothering me with this, you incompetent fool.
What do I even pay these people for if I have to do everything myself?
Listen to me, and listen to me good. I have problems of my own right now. So, if you'd like to keep your tiny head on your tiny shoulders, you'd best go look for the body and not bother me about it again. Is that understood, Carl?
No, sir. I mean, yes, sir. Of course, what was he thinking wasting your time with this, huh? Me DNA are going to deal with this. No problem.
As time and experience proves, if money doesn't work, threats do. At least for the moment. But it's good enough for me if it gets me off this call and back to making sure I am safe.
Who was that?
One of those incompetent officers from the LPD. They say Hana's body is gone from the morgue. Can you believe them? I don't even want to think about what happened to it right now. Fucking Christ, will this day not end?
I feel tired. So tired. The only thing keeping me awake is the thought that that woman is still somewhere out there. But the thought of just sleeping through it all while Johannes keeps guard is just heavenly right now.
Whatever, they'll call back later.
You're not worried?
Well, what do you want me to do? Drive to the city and try to look for the corpse of my wife? 1, Shrokin, the city is big. 2, it's LPD's job to keep an eye on the corpse. They didn't, it's their mess to fix.
For the moment at least. I just don't see what other problem that might pop up from this. We have a scapegoat, I have an alibi. Harvey will make sure that Gollywog will be convicted. Money, reputation, connections, the company I've built. Everything. I have it all. That's a reason to be happy. Right?
Now, if you'll excuse me, since you insisted I stay here, I might as well get some rest. Leave, Shrokin.
Of course.
Despite his words, he lingers. If I didn't know any better, I'd say he wants to make sure I get in that damn bed and sleep before he turns away from me. What am I, a child? Watching me and treating me like one. There's the reason why we will never get along.
Well, what are you waiting for?
Nothing. I just hope you're happy.
Verily, now mush!
As you wish.
Only then does he seem to get the hint. With a nod, he leaves, locks and closes the door behind him. For a moment I still hear his voice while he gives the guards outside firm instructions, then a hush as soon as he departs, and his footsteps fade away. One that doesn't quite last. As quickly as the silence settles, lightning flashes across the sky, followed immediately by the loud boom of thunder. And that wanker strikes so dangerously close that I can feel the electricity in the air. The power goes out not a second later, and I feel as if I'm being mocked by whatever greater power there is. All is deathly still for a moment, but soon the rain starts once again. Far heavier than the light drizzle from this morning, its pitter-patter hitting hard against this place's roof. Despite the noise, I find myself drawn to my bed, exhausted, hoping for a little nap. I'm safe here. LPD will find her, and when I wake, I won't have anything to worry about. It does not take long. Once my head hits the pillow, in a matter of minutes, darkness claims me, bringing with it laughters and whispers of a twisted love from a long time ago.
Stay away!
Okay, that's not quite it, but we'll go with that. Who are you?
Who are you?
Oh my god. Sweet dreams, my love. It'll be over soon. All Saints' Day. Yet, in spite of the unfamiliar voices and unwanted touches from shadows lurking in the dark, rousing is a slow, arduous process. Difficult, every limb heavy with lead. No matter my aversion for the words they murmur in my ears or the sight of her horrid smile from afar, my body refuses to yield. I am at their mercy. Beyond fathomable reason, my consciousness refuses the pull of the waking world, choosing to linger in the pits of a dream, gradually drawing me deeper into unknown depths. Somehow, even if it might mean I may never open my eyes, I allow them.
You do not belong there, my love.
Not that I mind gaining a few extra hours, of course. The bed's more than comfortable as it is, after an exhausting day yesterday. Babysitting Kylie, the stress of finding an intruder in my home, not to mention those bloody eyeballs they left. I think I deserve a little break every once in a while, especially after going through all that in a single day. I can only be on the receiving end of so many unacceptable things within the span of a few hours, you know. As gracious a host and a person I am, my patience has its limits too. Although there's still that problem with Hannah. I haven't forgotten that, of course, but that's why I hired Shrokin. He's competent enough. He won't even last a day in my service if he's any less than those halfwits who think they can deceive me with sweet words. He's more than capable of working on his own without guidance. Let the butler take care of that little problem with Hannah once those dunderheads from the LPD call in for an update while I... Hannah's body is still missing. Hannah's still missing and the trespasser's still out there.
You do not need her. I am here. We are here. This is where your home is.
Where you belong, for all that blood you've shed. Come back to us. How long has it been since? Is finding a dead body really that hard?
Surely there should have been an update by now. Right?
So why isn't there?
Please don't go.
Bloody hell, the cretins I've surrounded myself with.
And isn't that enough reason to force myself out of bed? As it has always been the case. My eyes fly open, expecting the warm rays of sunshine filtering through the curtains, only to be greeted by a blinding flash of light and a loud boom of thunder that sounded nearly too close to my ears. Strong gusts of wind will occasionally burst in from the open balcony door, bringing in drizzles of cold rain into the room. I must have left it open earlier before dozing off. The carpet on the floor closest to it is already drenched. Hannah would be crossed if she were still here. Not that it's an immediate problem. If anything, it's this power outage we should be minding first. With the intruder still at large, steering through this darkness might be far more fatal than multiple stab wounds or a gunshot to the chest.
Oh, great. The power's still out. That is exactly what I need right now. Yes.
It's this storm, of course. I should have moved back to the penthouse to weather in a much more comfortable setting. Already I can hear the creak and groans of this old place as rain beats against the windows.
Johans! Has someone been sent to take the circuit breaker yet?
No answer.
Johans?
Silence.
Shrokin! Someone! Anyone?
Still nothing, and my cordial mood is quickly dissipating.
Where are those idiots when you need them?
It's really a wonder why he hasn't fixed this yet. Was I really out that long? Can't be. It's only been a few hours after midnight, if the time of my wristwatch is anything to go by. Unless I forgot to change it again after that last overseas trip a month ago. Although the delay is understandable, in this storm, I'll bet this house has given him another problem to fix. Bloody rush jobs, my safety's at stake here. Cursing, I stay still, letting my eyes try and adjust to the darkness while my hands fumble for my slippers. If that butler isn't going to fix this, I may as well order the security posted outside to do it. It's probably just a blown fuse. Anyone with a brain can repair one. Grabbing my jacket and with the footwear finally on, I make for the door. Although in haste, I pause briefly when a gleam catches my eye. On one of my drawers, underneath the clutter I've yet to organize, the muzzle of a gun peeks out. Hannah has never openly commented my possession of it, but I know she does not approve of it, knowing the bloody firearms policy in this nation. Of course, I've not found much use for it in the 7 years we've been together. Otherwise, she would have already thrown it out years ago. Doesn't mean it won't be useful right now. Without second thought, I seize it, sending the stuff piled above it onto the floor. Huh? Whatever. I'll get to it later. This blackout problem should be resolved first. But, of course, right after I made the effort and I'm already dressed and on my feet, without even waiting for my permission, the door swings open and in comes Shrokin, striding into the room like he owns the place. No respect for authority at all. Though he does pause midway to glance at me when he notices the empty bed. The look on his face when his eyes land on me. I can't decide if he's simply cautious or scandalized. Last I checked, I looked decent enough. Is it the hair?
Oh, you're already up.
But really, why do I let him get away with such disrespect? why do I keep anyone? Sometimes I think I'm better off alone, you know. Then again, I wouldn't have anyone to boss around if I live on my own.
Did you come in here just to sass me? And before you do that, I'll have you know that I've been calling you for a good...
We have a problem.
He says that as if he's simply talking about the weather and not a problem. Not that I find anything new in it. The man's humor has always been as dry as a bone. You won't even know he has told a joke until there's an awkward silence in the room. Probably why this irks me. Because if there's one thing, ever since we started living in this mansion that has remained constant, it's that word. Somehow, every single day we have to deal with a problem. I'm not entirely sure how exactly he's expecting me to react if dropping another bomb on me like that. Just after waking up at that. On top of Hannah's dead body missing, this power failure, and that woman who keeps trespassing in my home. Forgive me, I have every right to be this cheesed off in the middle of the night.
What do you mean we have a problem? Haven't we had enough for one night? Good Lord! Do I have to be the one to fix everything, every little issue that pops up in this house? Do I have to be there every single time? Can't you just fix it?
My men know I dislike doing legwork unless it's of the utmost necessity and importance. If I did do something on my own, it is only done in the direst of situations. That or I must be very, very bored.
I can, but I thought you might want to see this one for yourself before any disposal occurs.
For all my exasperation over this, he sure does know how to get me interested.
Where?
He's in the study right now. Sound asleep, though it won't be long before he wakes up. I found him nosing around the attic. Odd, if you ask me. Not quite sure why he went there. A doorway, and he would have gotten easily to you. Unless you're not the reason why he's here.
He? So there are, what, 2 different people trying to get to me?
That's already one too many to deal with. What is wrong with these people?
Possibly. There might be more. You really aren't a likable sort. And this shouldn't be surprising anymore. Didn't you used to count how many enemies you've made? I believe it was a yearly thing. Or have you already stopped?
Normally I'd point out Hannah likes me well enough. After that, that's all that matters. Or at least it used to. But she's already dead. Killed by her own husband. Even if I say she loved me in life, the fact that she died by my own hands is already enough reason for her to hate me in death.
Why do you even care if I'm still counting or not? And we're wasting time here. Come on now, lackey. If you say he's in the study, to the study we go. And mush.
Sometimes I must wonder how well you sleep at night. And why I haven't smothered you yet.
I can only laugh in amusement and shake my head as I step out. But I don't grace his question with an answer, though I have something in mind. Perhaps it's because I'm a fun boss. And tonight, we really are going to have lots of fun. I haven't looked forward to something in a while. Bloody. I don't think I've done this enough these past few years. It does actually feel quite refreshing to be back doing what I'm used to, even if it's only for one night. And after we're done with him and get what we need from him, there'll be one less problem to worry about. Win-win, if anyone bothers asking me. Things are finally looking up. The idiot's still unconscious when we march into the study. Though with the rolling pin sitting so completely out of place atop my desk, I'm not shocked. Getting hit by one must have dislodged his brain by a few paces. In fact, I'm already willing to bet he'll be out until sunrise. Here's to hoping the way Shrokin has him cuffed won't damage him first. Being bound like that is guaranteed to cut off circulation in his arms at some point. Painful, but where's the fun in that? He has the gall, though, walking into my home looking like a little pig fresh off bathing under the sun and rolling in a patch of mud. Just because you're trespassing or about to kill someone doesn't mean you have the right to walk into other people's homes dirty. Really, sloshing your muddy boots about and soiling the floor. No wonder he got the metal rolling pin and not the pan. Bloody, even my late mom, bless her poor tortured soul, won't tolerate that. Where are his manners? I swear, People need to stop breaking into my house.
What is wrong with all these lunatics? You'd think they'd put more thought before stumbling into somebody else's home unannounced. This on top of my wife's dead body, which is missing from the bloody morgue.
I suppose the act of committing crime must have some attraction to the insane. Of course, you'd know all about that, wouldn't you?
I'd bloody gut you. But you won't be able to clean up after if you're the sorting corpse, will you?
But more than that. A look of pain crosses his pretty face when I grip his chin with faint glee. He appears familiar. I just can't recall where I've seen his mug before. Certainly not in a place I frequent, although for someone who looks... well, still not as good looking as me, of course, but to some degree, decent. He seems to lack the brain capacity and etiquette to complete the package. Disappointed, I might add, with that fancy coat. He better prove interesting to make up for it. Light marks mar his skin where my nails dig into him, and I have to wonder how much more I have to push him before I break skin. I don't have time to figure it out, though, as a moment later the little pig stirs with a soft groan.
I'd love to see you try. When was the last time you... Oh, there we go. The Dummkopf is waking up.
Fuck. Awake already. He's only been out a few minutes.
And you get to see this one more time.
Shrucker, did you not hit him hard enough? Shouldn't he be out longer? That rolling pin was made of metal. His skull must be very thick.
I only want to knock him out, not kill him, silly man. If I really wished him dead, I could have easily targeted his pterion. That, or the back of his neck, just below the skull. Oh well, look at it this way. It is good news. This means he'll be capable of giving you the answers you seek, yes?
True, true. I do have many questions for our trespasser here.
At least he does prove to be fun, if a little frustrating with his act. Especially when it is my turn. When was the last time I've had to interrogate anybody? It's been a while, hasn't it? I do hope I haven't gotten rusty. But I do remember the basics. And one of the first things one has to remember is to make sure the poor sap who got the short end of the stick can't fight back.
I'm telling you, you saw that letter, didn't you? I don't know how it works, but everyone who's seen it ends up dead, or in an accident if they don't go missing entirely. I know this sounds crazy, but you have to believe me.
And we're back to the madman ramblings.
He believes me a fool, saying that he came here to help me rather than harm. If that isn't the worst excuse I've heard, I don't know what is. I want to make him regret thinking he can play me like a fiddle.
They can pay, my love. You do not deserve to be treated the way you did, taking you for a fool.
I say it time and time again. There's always a certain joie de vivre in having power over another man. Schadenfreude, as Johannes calls it. Not absolute power, mind you. I always like a little spark, a little spice, a little fire in my poison of choice, whether it's alcohol, food, or sex, or even enemies. Easy is boring. A little challenge never hurt anybody, because there's little point in hurting someone who won't even fight back. There's no satisfaction in trying to win against another who would rather grovel, cry, and beg at one's feet, curled up like a little child wailing for their mother
And when we're done with him, there's a nice plot of land for new daffodils. You'll make excellent fertilizer. Sounds like a plan, doesn't it?
And where was I? Yes. There's a joy in bringing men like the detective to the brink of despair, to have them realize that they have little power in the harsh face of reality, and making them concede that I am the better man using the business end of my knife.
While we're at it, why don't you be a good boy and close your eyes? I really don't like the way you're looking at me. If looks could kill, really, I think I'd be dead on the spot. Close your pretty little eyes unless you want me to pluck them out with a spoon.
Some might call me a sadist, and some might even go further and call me a monster. I do admit to the former, and a small part of me fears that I love the thought of being the latter.
It is of no consequence, my love. I am here. It is all that matters. Us.
But at the end of it all, I am just a man who hungers for excitement, for power, for control. Unfortunately, or perhaps fortunately for him, he passes out not too long into it. Hanging limp from where he's been shackled, blood dripping into the floor from every wound we've inflicted on him.
Mad props to Little Pig, though. All that effort from us, and we still got nothing from him. Tough little bastard.
Either he's been trained for this, or he's simply lost consciousness before he can spill anything. Meanwhile, Shrokin makes a face at the mess we made, although wisely keeps his mouth shut. He is in no place to complain when I've given him enough freedom tonight, and he's as responsible for this. Without a single comment or a dry quip, he's out the door, muttering something about getting a disinfectant and some cleaning effects from the kitchen, leaving me in the silence of the room. Or as silent as it can be with the storm raging outside. The winds have intensified, the windows and rafters have begun creaking in earnest, any harder, and I think this whole house might fall. I hope not. I did not live this long to die helplessly under a bunch of century-old beams collapsing on me. I'd rather be burned alive and be condemned for my sins, really. It makes for a great exit when you think about it. Thankfully, it's a thought that doesn't linger long. Soon enough, Shrokin returns, slamming the door open with much force. I almost jump. He looks frazzled, hair and suit in disarray, as if he has just made a mad dash from the kitchen or he's seen a ghost. Although he's still far from a person panicking, it's the closest he can get to it with a wild look in his eyes. And slowly, like he's easing me into it.
We have another problem, right?
Again?
Too close. Too close to drawing my gun and just shooting at him, if I didn't have the patience of a saint right here and there. He should be grateful this little activity with Little Pig has taken some of the tension I'm carrying since yesterday.
Oh, tell me, Shrokin, Johans. How many more of these little problems are there for me to fix tonight? What the bloody fuck is it this time?
That inner architect we lost?
That's interior designer, Marianne. In an architect. Interior architect? Didn't my brain translate that right?
Wait, what? Mint? What about Marianne?
I found her.
To say this doesn't worry me might be a bit of an understatement. Her secretary has just called us yesterday looking for her. The last time people have seen of her was before the party, here. Then suddenly she shows up again at the same place she went missing. There'll be a whole slew of problems attached to this.
What do you mean you found her? I know her assistant said she's been missing over the weekend, but goodness. Did she get locked in... where? The cupboards? The wine cellar? I know she's Irish and they have a reputation, but that's hilarious if true.
Did she sneak in and got stuck in there? Please don't tell me she was just drinking the weekend away down there. This was priceless. I half wish Johannes would just carry her here right out of there, just to make fun of her.
Oh God, where is she? Oh, I've got to see this for myself. I could use a win tonight.
However, there is no humor in the other man's look, even as I nearly bust my gut laughing.
Right. She is dead. It is her corpse, and it is not at all a pretty sight.
Now that he has mentioned it, I have noticed a sickly sweet smell wafting from the cellar door in the few times I passed by. I thought that perhaps it was another bottle of wine dropped by another dullard from the staff. But now that this has come to light, it might be the rank stench of old meat and cheap perfume. Of a body gradually decaying. And knowing what it is, or rather who it is, makes me want to throw up.
Jesus bloody Christ! How even?
So one thing to keep in mind about a wine cellar is that it's a cool, damp place. Decomposition is going to be a little bit irregular there, depending on what the temperature is exactly. I don't think they'd actually be able to smell the body just yet.
Has no one been down there to check the stocks?
Not since the party, no.
And she, what, starved to death down there?
It can't be. It hasn't been long enough for her to starve. It'll take 3 weeks for someone to actually starve to death. Moreover, even if it is wine, there's plenty for her to drink down there to at least keep going for 3 or 4 days she's been down there.
I did not linger long enough for a proper look. It looks like her head has been nearly cut off. Rather poorly at that. You could take a look if you like.
I don't think I want to see that, no. But I can't come up with a witty or scathing denial to his kind offer, and as my mind struggles to just let this all sink in.
Bloody hell! I just want to go to bed. Forget all this shite ever happened. Can this day possibly get any worse? Anyway, let's just get this whole thing over with. The cellar, right? How can a person just die right there?
And unable to answer that question, there's a long while the both of us are quiet and nothing but the pitter-patter of the rain fills the air while we head for the cellar. All of a sudden, nothing's funny about this anymore, and taking the gun with me seems a good call. Fuck. I also need a drink. Really, if I can, I will not give a flying fuck about this. Johannes can just get rid of the body and be done with it. But whoever had the audacity to leave a dead interior designer, a well-known one at that, in my own home needs to be taken care of. To leave that kind of loose end is dangerous. I'd rather not have a knife in the back while I sleep, and I certainly don't want to be accused of murders I'm not even responsible for. It'll be embarrassing to have trouble because of a frame-up. Jesus Christ, I can feel a headache coming on already just thinking about all this. How did it come to this? It's one bad luck after another. The only thing we did is buy a house, for fuck's sake. I ain't asked for extras like this. It is a good thing no one comes down here unless there's a need to restock the kitchen's wine supply. Now without reason, and now without Johannes or myself ordering them, I don't go down here myself. Cobwebs are back. So I'm trying to remember them on this route. She was not looking for the mirror. She was looking for the secret passage. But I think the mirror was still here, so I don't know where that... Oh wait, did Ash smash that? I think he did. I may have a penchant for good wine, but I don't go through our supply that fast. Because it's obvious by the smell that something really died in here. The reality is just sinking into me now. Going by it alone, it has been there far longer than a dead body should be left stuck in an enclosed space. To sum it up, it's horrendous.
Ugh, it takes somebody without a nose to get through this horrible stench. Please don't tell me it's not too far from here.
She's just on the other side of this shelf.
Oh, great, more walking.
It's been a while since I last had to tolerate the stench of a rotting corpse. Perhaps for that reason, why a whiff of this one comes off worse when it shouldn't. Isn't there some kind of a rule in this? Shouldn't there have been a delay of some sort before it starts smelling like this? Or perhaps it's because I'm no longer as used to it as I've been in the past. It has been years. No wonder my first instinct is to balk, my back hitting the wall once her body comes into view and Shrokin removes the handkerchief covering her face.
Fuck, what the hell happened to you, Mint? Oh, that looks horrid.
She likely died from the wound first.
Where I can easily pretend that the other corpses I've seen in my life are just sleeping, the same does not apply to the other woman. That slit on her neck is a jagged mess. Thanks to the room's humidity, decay has just started. Elsewhere, she would have already started rotting, eaten away by maggots long before we even found her. For a moment, once the horror has passed, I consider pitying her to death on that man, like I've done with Hannah's. But why should I even? Nobody else knows of her just yet. We can just make her body disappear along with that detective once we're done with him. That'd be the simpler route. But this will have to be decided later. Suddenly, Shrokin gestures to me from the other end of the passage. Just a few paces away from McCullough, he stands, glaring at some part of the wall as if it has offended him. I raise an eyebrow in question, but he merely answers with a gesture of his head.
Another thing you need to see.
And I immediately know why. Where his eyes are trained, a door lies slightly ajar, one that shouldn't have been there in the first place. A frown quickly appears on my forehead as I stare at it, where it offers a small glimpse of the room on the other side. I can barely see anything, but from what little my eyes can catch beyond the darkness.
Are those jail cells?
So it seems, I'm afraid.
Whoa, what? In my own home? Underneath my own house? right in the place where I sleep and live.
You have not been made aware of this?
Obviously, do you see this face? Do I look very happy about this? What else is in there? Bones! Oh, more dead people! Oh, Christ, how many? Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God.
For someone who is used to putting bullets in other people's heads, you're very cross about this.
Oh, what did you expect? There's a dead interior designer over there. Lunatics have been going in and out of my home. And now I find out that there are places in this bloody mansion I haven't been made aware of, full of little surprises for myself or the fucking police. So yes, I am very cross about this, Shrokin. What's next? A magical, mystical, spooky graveyard in my bathroom?
At this point, why not?
Did that estate company know about this? Is that why they had no problems just handing it to us?
You were very eager to buy this place off their hands, though.
I am most definitely not very eager, no.
Why don't you think of it this way? At least now you know where those trespassers might be coming from.
I suppose you have a point. How far does this thing go?
Quite a few places, it seems.
There's only darkness on the other side. Fortunately, I'm sober enough to ever think of venturing into this place. Who knows where this will take me? Maybe when I'm drunk I'll be curious enough, but Shrokin has made a valid point, and if this is their point of entry, we'd better look into it and bar it as soon as possible. We've had so many close calls just this week, I'm not taking a chance.
Well, get on it. I want wherever this place leads to closed and sealed tightly. We've gotten enough magical surprise trespassers in this house.
He makes no further comment, but the man does give me another long-suffering look before pushing the door open and stepping into the poorly lit tunnel. There's a bit of a struggle at first while he tries to get to stable footing, testing the steps with a few light taps of his soul. Soon he's on his way, his treads echoing loudly inside the empty passage. Curious, I follow after him without crossing the threshold. From where I stand, I can barely see anything apart from the cells closest to the door. There's a light draft blowing from the other end, carrying with it this old, musky smell. I don't want to think what that might be. Merely looking into the cavern gives me the chills, as if in every shadow there's an eye watching me, calling for me. Eerie. There's no other word for it, but eerie. The sound of Shrokin's footfalls abruptly stopping certainly does not help.
Shrokin, how is it?
Silence.
Shrokin!
From somewhere, something scampers, its sound quickly fading as it moves farther from me. Still no response from Johannes, however. As aggravating as that man is, I'm beginning to worry.
Johans! I know you're there!
Another breeze blows in. This time, it's as if there's someone whistling on the other end. Or maybe that's just my imagination.
Hey, Johans! If this is your idea of a...
I never get to finish that. Before the rest of it slips out my mouth, without any preamble, the door slams shut. And reverberating above the loud thud it leaves in its wake is a scream. Shrill. Blood-curdling. Almost harrowing the way it sends a sharp chill in every nerve of my body, and along with it is a familiar voice.
Who are you? No. Stay away! Stay away!
I don't know what's going on the other side. With the doors shut tight, showing no sign of budging open, no matter how much I push or pull at it, there's no way of knowing. However, the sound filtering through the closed door is enough to make my knees buckle and shake. This isn't fear. I want to believe this isn't fear, but it's definitely the closest I can get to it. Horrid. It's nothing but horrid. That I can almost see flesh being ripped apart with every second the noise lingers. I need to get away.
Oh God. I am going to sue those people. I am going to sue every bloody goddamn person who sold us this house. I need to get my lawyer. And...
Stumbling back, the back of my shoes catches on something. My foot slips, sending me tumbling down on my hind. It takes a moment before I notice a wetness seeping in my pants, and another second later to realize it's blood, Mikaela's blood. But there is no moment left to feel repulsed by the thick metallic scent it sends into the air, or how Mint's eyes stare blankly at me. Her laughter is getting close. Without thinking twice, I'm picking myself up from the door and scrambling for the larder. The smell of blood and rotting corpse be damned. In 5 seconds flat, I was scented and closed the hatch behind me. Bolting it shut with not one, but 2 locks, I can find from the cupboards and throwing away the keys. I don't even consider waiting if I manage to keep whoever it is in there. The second last lock clicks into place, I'm out of the damn kitchen. Ran as quick as I can, as if any minute whoever finished off Shrokin will jump up from the cellar and grab me. At some point in my panic, I've also drawn my pistol, the closest thing I have to comfort after that. Who is she? Shrokin said he doesn't recognize her from my description. An outsider, a daughter of another businessman that holds a grudge with me. I seriously can't remember who, if she is. There are plenty of them. Well, there's Suarez, but Kyla is a darling child. She won't ever hurt Tio Luke. Who then? The only person I can think of right now who can give me answers is that little pig, who should be soundly asleep at the study. That fucking mongrel's in on this, isn't he? Working together with that woman, getting caught on purpose so he can distract us and get to me. And what of Hannah? What did they do to her? Are they also the reason why she's missing? He's a police officer. He likely has easy access to where they're keeping Hannah's corpse. A bolt to the head is the least he deserves for creating this nightmare.
That's right, my love.
He should be stoned to death.
You don't need them.
Burned.
Make them pay
To make up for every single wrong he's done.
for all the wrong made to us.
Upon my entrance, the door leading to the foyer bursts open with a loud clap, accompanied by the rumbling of thunder outside. The downpour has intensified, and lightning streaks across the night sky more frequently than hours before. I ignore all of it, heading straight for the stairs with only my purpose in mind, and her whispers, leading me, calling me, beckoning.
We don't need them.
But short of my foot taking on the first step upstairs, a noise to my left distracts me, briefly halting my movements while curiosity takes over every murmur in my head. And it's a good thing perhaps that I did, because as soon as I look up, I see him. The detective. Just as he's about to jump down from the furniture that somehow ended up piled, blocking the door to the parlor. What happened there? And did he really think getting out of the house would be that easy?
Teach him, my lord. Put him in his place.
My feet's already moving before any rationale can stop me. A hand firm on my gun when I finally release the safety from it and take aim at him. My finger on the trigger is more than itching to shoot, but I hold back. More than seeing him bleed, I want to see the expression on his face once he realizes everything he's doing is futile. He's trapped. His life's in my hand. Well, you aren't as incompetent as I thought. I can tell the exact moment the realization dawns on him. A short second of his body freezing and blood draining from his face as soon as his feet hits the floor. He wastes no time drawing his own gun, but by then it's too late. He's already a prey, trapped by his own recklessness.
How pathetic.
Still, he glares at me. Still, he fights back.
Now, little pig. Manners. You're in no position to be pointing that gun at people.
There's no desperation in him like I'm hoping, just an annoyance flickering shortly before being hidden underneath a challenge. The likes of him are the kind of people I hate the most. Even with their failures already glaring down at them, mocking every worthless move they make, they have the impudence to stare people in the eye.
Why don't you put yours down first, and then we'll talk about manners.
Oh, he talks back. The gall! You know, your kind pisses me off so much.
Annoying. Most of the time like a damn pest you can't be rid of. But to some degree it is. Commendable. I'll give him that. After all, we're almost the same in that regard. Almost. I'm still the better person, of course. He tells me to put the gun down, but I see no reason why I should. I'm a homeowner, in defense of my own home. I have the right to, I'd like to think. Questionable permit of firearms aside. Bloody peasants. Even knowing that, I can never seem to figure out how their minds fully work. And I should have also expected he won't let this end in some kind of standstill.
Sorry about this. I really don't have time for you.
A short lapse, it's all it is. One moment of letting my guard down. Before I can react, he fires 2 shots in quick succession. A sound crackling through the empty foyer, almost as loud as the storm raging outside, breaking the tense air in the room. So real quick, Ash double tapped him. That's not the kind of thing you do if you want to disarm someone or even leave them alive. So I don't know if that was actually supposed to be a kill shot or what exactly. Because we only see one bullet even impact, so where'd the other one go? Pain explodes in my wrist no 2 seconds later. Just a graze. However, it is enough to cause my fingers to tense, and the pistol slides to the floor with a dull thud.
Why, you insolent!
The next moments happen in a blur. In the following second, I'm being tackled bodily to the ground, back hitting the cold floor hard, and an arm pinning me down by the neck. There's a fleeting minute of panic and struggle while I try to untangle myself from him before he manages to knock me out. And then... a scream. A wail piercing through the thick air. Shrill and sharp enough for the both of us to cover our ears and hunker down on our knees. And with each sharp note beating harshly against my head are the images again. Faces and voices so utterly unfamiliar, seeping into every crevice, turning sinister with each shift. They are not mine, but they might as well be with how vivid and crisp they appear. Over and over they all flash behind my eyes until it becomes unbearable, pounding, throbbing, thudding against my skull, worse than any headache a hangover can give. Bloody, I'll take a hangover over this any day. A haze begins to fill my vision as black spots dance around the corners of my eyes. Beside me, the detective suddenly falls, muttering something quietly to himself as something distinctly red flows from under him. Blood, perhaps. In the blurry mess of my vision, it doesn't quite register. Nothing does. Except for the voice unexpectedly ringing above the discord, and when I finally gather the strength to look up, everything falls away into the background. All that matters is her.
I told you, didn't I? Everything you're doing is useless, Ashton Frey. And now, you're dying. Meddlesome fool. How does dying alone feel, Ashton Frey?
Hannah? You're not supposed to be here.
For a moment, I wonder if it had been me who had died and not her. After all, that can only be the logical explanation as to why I hardly draw a breath while she stands there. Of course, another logical explanation would be that I'm high and this is a really, really bad trip. Either reason doesn't suit me. Though it can't very well be the former. Even from down here I can see the blood that stains her dress. Seeing that makes me feel as if my hands are covered in them once more. Warm and sticky, sweet and sickly.
Oh, Luke, darling, my love. You look so upset. Are you not happy to see me?
But let's be honest here. Any explanation, any reason as to why a dead woman walks once more is a bad one to me, especially when it's one that I've killed. I mean, how even? What sort of sick joke is this? Not that any of this still matters, because I am with this headache crushing my skull, bearing down on me with a weight that leaves me gasping. Soon, despite my efforts to fight it, the entire room tilts forward, and the floor rises to meet my face. Don't worry, my love. Everything will be over soon. Above the deafening din of thunder and the howling of the winds, her sickening laughter is the last thing I hear before the blackness spreads and claims me. My whole body seizes with a violent gasp enough to wake me. Just as soon, my eyes fling open, looking wildly around, searching for that familiar, sickening smile. There's a brief moment of confusion when I don't find her, and see only an empty room before me. The storm still rages outside, with a draft sweeping into the room from the balcony door I'd forgotten to close last night. In a far-off horizon, lightning cuts sharply through the dark sky, illuminating everything in sight, before disappearing with a boom of thunder at its heels.
A dream. It must have been a dream.
Yet it feels all too real. The migraine still pounding in my head serves to remind me of that, though maybe it's because I haven't eaten anything since this afternoon. Coupled with everything going on in this bloody mansion this past week, I no longer have any doubts what this is. Stress. Just stress. What else can it be? Everything will pass soon. This headache will be gone tomorrow, along with every fucking problem, and all will be well.
Fucking nightmares.
The expensive mattress and pillows feel heavenly under my tired body when I flop back down to it. Bury my face into the soft Egyptian cotton, and simply laying still makes the idea of sleep especially inviting. But with this irritating pounding in my head, it's impossible to get even a single wink of rest. Without the alcohol, I'm going to have to rough it trying to calm down or sleep. I suppose now is a good time as any for that drink. Hannah won't approve, of course, but she's no longer here. Perks of being a widow and all that. I throw the blankets aside and rush outside before another bout of regret hits the pit of my stomach. She's gone. She's dead. Just like every other person in my life, nuisance or otherwise. Only I remain. Nothing else matters. It's dark, but the large windows of the foyer illuminate the area much more easily than any of the other rooms. That's the smallest of blessings I can ever ask for, in the hopes that I can go to bed after this little trip without further incident. But I have to stop in my tracks as something catches my eye. Carefully, I draw closer and... on the floor a smear. In the darkness, it's impossible to tell what it is, but it has left an ugly track, disappearing underneath the door leading to the dining room. Whoever left this here will have to answer to Johannes in the morning. He hates seeing mess, be it mud tracks or the tiniest drop of wine on the serving platter. Bastard. For now, I follow it. Let it guide me in this darkness, even if I feel its purpose is anything but, taking amusement in imagining how Shuriken's expression will change from surprise to disdain upon seeing it. However, I can only feel disappointment once I open the doors to the kitchen. There are only empty wine bottles, put aside to be cleaned and stored for collection. And I can't be bothered to try and find out where Johannes has hidden the absinthe on Hannah's orders. Even in death, she continues to bug me like this. Keep me from my beloved wine. I do have other options. Although I'd rather not go down the wine cellar myself, especially in this darkness. But when needs must be satisfied. Can't be helped that the needs to wind back is monumental, right? And I really need this fucking drink. Even the smear seems to lead me to it. But like in the dream, there's still that horrendous smell in this place. It's really an awful stench. But it's not too far off from how dearest Hannah smelled until they've taken her to the morgue. Despite this, I can't bring myself to leave. So I sit down, looking at anywhere but the smears that have converged on one side of the wall. It only reminds me of the room upstairs, where I briefly kept her. Why bother? There's also a pool of dark liquid near the wine vat, though I don't dare examine what it is. Some things I'd rather not know. Instead, I fixate on the colorful glass bottles that line the wall, before I pull one out and pop open the cork from the bottle. Taking a swig like I'm drinking water. Or rather, a huge chug of the stuff. There's some delight when I feel a delightful burn in the back of my throat and realize that it isn't exactly wine I have in my hand. Whiskey. How quaint. This explains where the rest of the alcohol was. I really shouldn't be drinking. It's dangerous enough as it is to intoxicate myself while there's a killer on loose and Shuriken hasn't come back. I must look like some bum who's managed to scrounge enough money for a bottle of booze.
Hana would kill me if she saw me in here like this. Probably say something scathing and witty like... You might as well shoot yourself in the liver, Lucille. Really now? She was such a nag.
A morbid mockery of a tale directed at no one. Soon choked laughter rings out in the wine cellar. Takes me a bit to realize that I'm the one who's laughing. My cheeks are wet with tears, too. Because, damn it,
I miss her.
it's stupid and crazy of me to still feel this way. It's my fault she's gone.
I wonder how it is. Are you in here, Hannah? Can you hear me? How is it, huh? To die? It must have been dreadful, no? I can't imagine it. I very much don't want to.
Look at me, talking about the horrible inevitability that is death. How depressing. It's any wonder that I haven't completely gone off the edge yet. Or maybe I have, and I just don't want to admit it. It could just be the alcohol. For a moment I have to stop drinking. The whiskey must have hit me harder than I thought. But then again, looking at it, I've nearly emptied the bottle. What's left of the amber liquid gleams tauntingly in the low light of the cellar. I really didn't mean to drink so much. I only wanted to take off some of the edge. But I might as well finish it off. Regret can always wait. Though it comes sooner rather than later when I feel my breathing become slow and irregular. My hands have long been cold and clammy. Around the time I was halfway through the bottle, but the urge to vomit has just started. Getting up to my feet is easier said than done, however. My coordination is basically shot to high hell with how much I've drank in one go. There's no doubt in my mind that trying to get up those stairs will be a struggle. But there's no way I'm going to vomit in here. I don't want the stench of throw up anywhere near my collection. The world spins even before I can get anywhere near the stairs, though. I have to lean on the wall to stay standing. That's when a curious click echoes in the cellar. I have to question if it's my alcohol-addled brain making up the fact that the door just appeared out of nowhere.
This is interesting.
Perhaps if I'm in a more sober mindset, I'll think twice about exploring unknown territory. I remember being wary after seeing this place in my dream. Running even. But I can't kick my curiosity to the curb so easily, what with the alcohol making me even more adventurous. Besides, what's the worst that could happen? Descending even further, deeper into the underground leaves me reeling, disoriented.
What's in blazes? What's going on in the devil down here?
It looks even horrid than the one in my nightmare. Torches and chains hang along the walls, and the cells are set into the brick. It doesn't even occur to me to ask how the torches are lit. Because I won't even be exaggerating if I say the whole place reeks of death. I hobble along the passage. One hand trails along the wall, and the other still clutches the whiskey bottle I've emptied. There's a giddy feeling as soon as the shock passes.
If I knew this was here, I could have put it to good use. Maybe.
I have to stifle the drunk giggles that threaten to spill uncontrollably. It's a wonder for all the horrid things that might have happened here. And it opens up a lot of questions about the history of the mansion. I'm no expert, but I don't think jails were a common feature in homes back then. How many people were locked up in here? What would they have even done to deserve this place? I can see little that speaks of its unfortunate inhabitants, though. Not until a particular cell draws my attention. Or rather, something in it. On the far wall, there's a small pile of something in it. Thrown together in a small mound as if someone has just hastily dumped them here. It's impossible to tell in this low light. Belatedly, I realize that the dark smear from the foyer going to the kitchen and the wine cellar ends here. But that is not where my gaze lingers. A small stone gleams, its dark color a stark contrast to the hay-littered floor. It is such a simple thing that I could have passed it off as another ordinary stone, if it isn't for the symbols painted on it and the thick cord. and in my curiosity, I kneel down and reach an arm through the bars to retrieve it. I'm quick to get back to my feet, however, scowling at the dirt on my knees. The stone is cold and heavy in the palm of my hand. An interesting trinket, an accessory most likely. It is a shame I don't know what the symbols mean. If you all know, it means beloved child. My amusement at the find is quick to fade, though, as a woman's laughter echoes in the passage. It's that woman's voice. I don't need to look to know that it's her, but that's a problem, because I hear her, but I don't see her. I've been terrified when I first saw her, but they don't call alcohol liquid courage or liquid stupidity in this case, as I seek her out. The trinket slips through my fingers, and in its place, my knife.
Where are you? Show yourself!
There are eyes on me, but every time I turn around there is nothing. Nothing but a horrid feeling that buzzes under my skin. Anxiety overpowers the haze of intoxication and wraps its arms around me, suffocating and straining. But terror doesn't take hold until I hear a whisper in my ear, and familiar arms come from behind to rest across my chest.
You've come for me, my prince. I'm so happy.
There's a creeping feeling, as if there are hands running all over me. Something in me screams and snarls at the thought of being held down. This is wrong, it says to supply the obvious. Hannah's dead. She's supposed to be dead.
You came home to us, and with us you will stay. Our lord, my prince.
Get your hands off me! What do you want?
Though wrong doesn't quite paint a proper picture of what happens next. My scream is cut off the moment those hands push their fingers through my lips. I can't see what they really are as my eyes threaten to roll into the back of my skull and pain racks my entire being. I'm silenced and on the verge of choking, suffocating, drowning. I can feel everything. They crawl and slither down my throat like snakes, searching and filling every part of me, leaving soft skins and crushing my insides. My body shivers, and the smallest of movements brings the greatest of pains. I feel like I'm about to burst. But no matter how long we stay like this, death does not come to bring me relief. Up, down, and around they go, until they all converge around my chest, where my heart should be, and they squeeze. Tears flow freely through my cry, though my cries are muffled, and snot drips down my nose. I'm not in control of my body at all, and I think this is it. This is how I die. But then, there's nothing. Nothing but lightness and air, and the feeling of being emptied out, scraped raw. I feel sullied and tainted, like I've been dissected, torn apart and put back in the wrong order. My cheeks are wet as I snivel like a snotty child. Bile rises in my throat and I want to be sick, try and throw up any remnant of what may have been inside of me. I nearly forget about her in my devastated state, until she laughs.
Please! Please, no more! Please! Oh God, please! Somebody help me!
But her laughter only grows louder, echoing in my head. My heart seizes in my chest and I... Till death do us part unlocked. A curious local discovers an eerily empty mansion months later, with its new owners having disappeared into thin air. Whispers quickly spread across Luxborn City. Officers who investigated found only smears of blood on the walls and floors, nothing else. Eventually they have deemed the mystery of the Ermengarde mansion as another tragedy brought upon the city by the Anselm Butcher. But for those who still believe in the stories of the old and those who know the truth, it is but a testament to the curse and the secrets the Ermengarde mansion has hidden for centuries. If there will come a time those will finally be revealed, only the hallowed halls of the mansion know. To this day, it stands silent. However, on nights when the wind howls and thunder booms across the sky, beyond the veil unlocked, some still claim hearing voices within, of cries and wails that fill the nights, and desperate calls for help for anyone who dares listen. Somebody, please, get me out of here. Help, anyone, help me, please. Wow, that was a lot briefer than I was expecting.
I knew the game was over before the rules were set. I've never been a winner. I didn't want to play. I thought there was a way out, but there's no exit from this maze, where every path is the wrong turn and every choice is a mistake. I lied to the Lord, I lied to myself, I lied to you and everyone I care, until there were no more lies to tell. Cowardice is easier than being brave, but at last I found the strength I lost to sing my love letter to you. 'Cause people can lie, but my lone heart beats true. It was a simple question, my answer came too late, and every time I said no, I wanted to say yes. They say speak your mind, tell the truth, but there is room for each regret. So many fears to overcome, so little time to conquer them. I lied to the Lord, I lied to myself, I lied to you and everyone I care, until there were no more lies to tell. Cowardice is easier than being brave, but at last I found the strength I lost to sing my love letter to you. 'Cause people can lie, but my lone heart beats true. The ghost of guilt and sorrow remembers who I am, and in the prison of my heart, I was my only slave. But in the depths of my cold soul, I'll leave the burden and despair. I'll fight for what's worth fighting for. Forget the fear, forget the rest. I lied to the Lord, I lied to myself, I lied to you and everyone I care, until there were no more lies to tell. Cowardice is easier than being brave, but at last I found the strength I lost to sing my love letter to you. 'Cause people can lie, but my lone heart beats true.
Tio? Where are you, Tio? Tio?
Shattered Fairy Tale unlocked, and let's face it, the ankle biter had it coming. The real letter unlocked. Dear you, if you're reading this, that means you finished playing the game in one way or another, and we thank you for the time you spent in playing the letter. This game is our passion project more than anything, and we sincerely hope we delivered in bringing you a one-of-a-kind visual novel experience. The letter is hopefully the first of many visual novels coming from us. If you liked what we do with this game and would like to support us, please consider donating to our Patreon account. I have to find that. I might back them, we'll see. You can also follow us on social media to get the latest updates. Our usual handle is Yang Yang Mobile. Thank you so much for everything. Let's talk soon. Love, Yang Yang Mobile. So real quick here, in case you're wondering, I don't know how long this video is going to be, probably at least an hour, but there are 4 different events that can happen when you hit New Game. So when I first started this, it was the jump scare scream one, which is expected, to be honest. And luckily it was like, the game didn't actually fall into that trap, which I definitely have to commend them for. But otherwise, you can also have the black cat, the stained glass break, and the body from the chandelier. So let's see which one we get. The scream. Yeah. So the next order of business, in case you're wondering, is I will do the Everyone Survives route. There's the black cat. By the way, you get an achievement for seeing all 4 of them, in case you're wondering. So after everyone lives, I will do the true ending. I didn't see that one before. But the thing I wanted to ask you guys is regarding, there's Charlotte, the way I go about the Everyone Survives route. Oh well. I'm not going to bother with the trying to get the broken window one. What I'm trying to get at is when I replay Isabella's chapter, for example, I plan on going for events I didn't do and it locked up. There it goes. So that means we will be spending time in the theater and so on. The thing that I wanted to ask you guys is, did you still want to see some of these routes? Like, to give you an example, a choice that I will try the choices that, like here's the theater, that I didn't cover the first time, but do you want to see all the common scenes in between? So, based on how this works, Isabella's chapter might end up getting put into 3 parts because the theater, I imagine, is probably going to be a little bit lengthy. Then over here we can meet the professor or the priest. I think that's this part. And it's just, I'm wondering how you guys feel about it, what you're interested in, and so on. So go ahead and leave something in the comments and we'll decide from there, because I was planning on just skipping all the stuff we'd seen before. I'd hit the skip button and we'd speed through it. It's just, I'm kind of curious on how your preferences are. Well. Apparently there was a 5th one, which is that cross falling from the altar. Damn. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna stop now since I can't get the stained glass to break. So this is the end of the Dark Hero run. You have the Light Hero run to look forward to. So I'll see you guys in the future.